Microsoft taking on Google Glass and HTC doing a watch. Who wins in that battle? I'll have more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Tweet.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Tech News Today for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013. Tech News Today is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. With over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 25% off your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code TNT1013. And by IT Pro TV. Are you looking to upgrade your IT skills or prepare for certification? IT Pro TV offers engaging and informative tutorials streamed to your Roku, computer, or mobile device. For 50% off the lifetime of your account, go to itpro.tv/TNT and use the code TNT50.
About it too far. It's just as the title says. Some guy named John needing cameras.
And by Personal Capital. With Personal Capital, you'll finally have your financial life in one place and get a clear view of everything you own. Best of all, it's free. To sign up, go to personalcapital.com/TNT. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz.
I'm Jason Howell.
And this is the show that keeps you up to date on the most important stories in the tech world, starting each time with the top 10 stories of the day in the news fuse. Apple announced new iPads today. The iPad Air will start with an A7 chip at $499 and be available November 1st. The iPad Mini with Retina display comes in November sometime, starting at $399. The company also unveiled new iPad covers for both models. We also got new computers. The Mac Pro, starting at $2,999, launches in December. New 13 and 15-inch MacBook Pros with Haswell processors are available today, and starting at $2,999, launches in December. New 13 and also got new computers. The Mac Pro, starting at $2,999.
$2,999 is the start price. Wow.
Launches in December. New 13 and 15-inch MacBook Pros with Haswell processors are available today, and finally, along with free versions of iWork and iLife apps, including GarageBand, OS X Mavericks was announced, available today for free.
Who cares about Apple when you can talk about Nokia? The company unveiled the 10.1-inch Lumia 2520, a $500 Windows RT 8.1 tablet with LTE shipping this fall. The company also announced two 6-inch smartphones today, the $739 Lumia 1520. It'll go to market Q4 of 2013, and the $339 Lumia 1320, which will follow in the first quarter of next year. And Nokia's Asha range of devices continue with the Asha 500, Asha 502, and Asha 503. All three will be available in red, green, yellow, cyan, white, and black, shipping in Q4 of this year.
You get to prepare your Windows Phone because here comes some major new apps now at Nokia World. Nokia announced that Vine, Flipboard, and Instagram are all coming to Windows Phone. Not third-party apps, actual first-party apps here. If you like games, FIFA 14 and Temple Run 2 are both coming to Microsoft's mobile OS. Nokia showed off a total of 23 new apps.
BlackBerry Messenger returned.
That $2,999 start price does not include a monitor.
To iOS and Android yesterday with one hip new feature added since its last attempt to roll out: waiting lists. As you may recall, BlackBerry tried to launch for iOS and Android last month, but their servers melted down when too many users got hold of unofficial versions. Those who signed up in advance can use the apps right away, while the rest must enter an email address and wait their turn. Workarounds to jump the queue have already begun to circulate.
Microsoft Surface 2 tablet launch just happens to be a nationwide in-store launch event today, of all days. But the event didn't really drive big crowds, at least at midnight, and also at least in the Microsoft Store's San Francisco location in the Westfield Center, which is downtown for anybody who's not familiar with San Francisco. One of 10 locations holding Surface launch events, though, where by about 10 p.m., roughly 50 people had assembled in line.
So that's good. According to Bloomberg, HTC is working on a smartwatch that can take pictures. The device would be based on Android and could be released in the second half of next year. Now, of course, there's no official word from HTC on the matter.
Netflix added 1.29 million new United States subscribers in Q2 to reach 31.09 million domestic subs, passing HBO. Non-U.S. subscribers rose by 1.44 million to 9.19 million. All of those subscribers made the company profitable, too, at $31.8 million in profit for 52 cents a share. Revenue climbed 22% to $1.11 billion. All of this beat analysts' expectations, which drove the stock price close to $400 during the day yesterday. Netflix also acknowledged that Orange is the New Black is one of their top marketing tools, but said most viewership was going to deals like AMC's Breaking Bad or The Walking Dead.
UK Prime Minister David Cameron has weighed in that Facebook's decision to allow videos showing people being decapitated back on its pages was, quote, irresponsible. Facebook reversed a temporary ban on such videos, saying that users should be free to watch and condemn such content. Mr. Cameron tweeted, "It's irresponsible of Facebook to post beheading videos, especially without a warning. They must explain their actions to worried parents."
Google has released Project Shield, a program meant to help small websites stay online during a distributed denial of service attack. Google also launched a digital attack map in partnership with Arbor Networks. The map updates hourly and animates anonymous DDoS events from 270 internet service providers worldwide. Alexis Santos at Engadget points out that since DDoS origins are often forged, the map may not always be entirely accurate.
According to the Wall Street Journal, there will be a brand new contestant in the developing wearable computing world, and it's none other than Microsoft. The journal says Redmond is currently testing prototypes of an internet-connected eyewear. There is no details as to when or if this product will ever ship for Microsoft.
This episode of Tech News Today brought to you by Shutterstock.com. You'll find the perfect image or video for your next creative project there. I've done it. I made a whole book trailer out of it using both the images and the videos. Whether you need it for a video or a publication or an advertisement or any type of project, you can choose from over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. They get 20,000 new images in the catalog every day. Every time you visit, you're going to find something new. And they review each image individually for content and quality before they put it in the library. So you know it's going to be good stuff. You've got flexible pricing, too. You can choose individual image packs or a monthly subscription. Download 25 images a day on the standard subscriptions. It's a ton every day. Download any image in any size, and you pay just that one price. Plus, it's a global marketplace. They have multilingual customer service in more than a dozen international countries at full-time customer support throughout the week. You got to try it. Go try Shutterstock today. Sign up for a free account. No credit card needed. Just start an account. Begin using Shutterstock to help imagine what your next project could be like, and save your favorite images to a Lightbox to review later. That way you can collect all the things you think you might need. Once you decide to purchase, use offer code TNT1013, and new accounts will receive 25% off any package. That's Shutterstock.com. And for 25% off new accounts, use offer code TNT1013. We thank Shutterstock for their support of Tech News Today. Let's start with the Apple announcement. Sarah Lane, you and Leo and Andy Anatko and
Alex Lindsay.
Alex Lindsay we're covering it like a barn full of paint.
Thank you, Tom. We were hoping to come across that way. No, it was actually really nice because Apple doesn't always live stream their keynotes, but they did today. So we were able to follow along and kind of do our Mystery Science Theater thing without refreshing the live blogs a million times. And we got quite a bit of stuff. Let's start with the iPads because it was technically an iPad event and everybody was excited about that. The full-size iPad has been renamed to the iPad Air, which surprisingly was not leaked. I mean, nobody even threw that out as a joke in any headline that I ever read. That was kind of surprising. Starting at $499. Somewhat surprisingly, the iPad 2 will be the sole survivor of the the old models. That'll be priced at $399, which seems really high for a non-Retina iPad 2. That thing is pretty old. So that's the full-sized lineup. Starts shipping November 1st online and in retail stores. As far as we know, no pre-orders, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, you can configure them online right now. You can go to store.apple.com and then see what a price could be for a 128 gigabyte iPad Air on Verizon, but you can't actually hit pre-order or save for later or anything. It's kind of an odd thing that I was testing out earlier.
Well, Leo and Alex were talking about that after the announcement, and it just sounds like they're having a really hard time with those Retina displays, and they still can't peg down, especially in the Mini, exactly when you're going to get it.
Speaking of the iPad Mini, we did get Retina, which was something that I was really, if all else failed, that's what I wanted today to give me. So I was pretty excited about that. It also has the same number of pixels as the iPad Air, so in a way, the Retina Mini would be even crisper because, of course, it's a more compact version of that. You've got the nice thinner bezel on the new iPad Air as well. In fact, they touted it as just a single pound. But of course, the Mini stays to be that nice smaller model. They both have the A7 chip. They're both 64-bit. iPad Mini is they're saying 10 hours of battery life. It'll start at $399 for the 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi model. The original iPad Mini will still be available, as some were predicting. Its price has been slashed down to $299. It was started at $339, I believe. So it's a nice, healthy price drop for the Mini. I don't know. I mean, before we move on to some of the other announcements that Apple had today, are we excited? Do we feel like, as far as the iPad line goes, this is enough? I personally was pretty bummed that Touch ID wasn't at least part of the new full-size iPad. I got to start remembering to call it the iPad Air. I guess that's something that they'd like to leave exclusive to the iPhone 5S, maybe for a little while, where they iron out kinks and are able to tout it as very, very special. But it bothers me, as somebody who uses an iPad almost as often as my iPhone, that they didn't match things there.
Yeah, I agree. I look at the iPad Air, and if I didn't have an iPad, I wouldn't be disappointed. I would say, like, oh, that's a very nice machine. It's got a Retina display. It's pretty. It's thin. It's light. But I have an old iPad that works just fine. I haven't had any complaints about it, and I don't see a reason to go drop another $500 on this one just to get the A7 processor and a nicer look.
Yeah, looking at the designs, though, that seems to be a little screwy. So we've got the iPad Mini with Retina, iPad Mini, we've got iPad 2, and iPad Air. So we have this basic naming mess when it comes to what product do you have. Then you have the form factors, the iPad 2 with the older bezel, the lower resolution. So it just seems like these old remnants, they're still hanging around. I'm not really sure why they're still doing that, other than pricing and saying starts at $399 or something like that.
Sure.
The iPad Air, though, I was impressed with the design refresh because it does seem a little old, and you have to have something that looks new, maybe matching the iPad Mini. No upgrades to the cameras. I know people are like, why would you take tablet photos? They both have 5-megapixel cameras, the Mini and the Air. I was hoping that maybe someday an 8-megapixel camera would show up on this because, yes, I'm one of the fools who takes pictures with the tablet. But effectively, the Mini really is simply a shrunk-down version of the Air. You got an A7 chip, MIMO, 10-hour battery life. I don't see why you wouldn't bother going with that, especially with that crazy resolution.
Well, I think, then it turns into what are you comfortable with? It's almost a conversation of people with phones saying, is a 4-inch phone fine? Or do you want to, something more like a phablet size? It really just turns into portability and comfort.
Matter of taste.
Yeah.
Some people just like to have that smaller screen. I don't, but I understand that not everybody has the same needs and the same wants.
Exactly. I mean, it's funny now that there's a Retina Mini. I realize, well, do I really? The only thing I could say that was wrong with the Mini was that it wasn't a Retina Mini. But yeah, I actually do prefer the larger size. So if I'm being honest, iPad Air is really the product that I want more, even though I'm glad that they've caught up with each other resolution size, rather. Should we move on to some of the other announcements from the keynote?
Yeah, I'm downloading OS 10 Mavericks right now.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Not only will Mavericks be free as an upgrade, but it is available right now. In fact, the free upgrade really surprised some folks, and this goes back. It's not just anybody who's already running Mountain Lion. It goes back to, gosh, what was it?
It's a Snow Leopard,
Leopard.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, that's like over the last. If you're running a Mac that you got over the last 6 years, you can go ahead and upgrade
6
to
years.
Mavericks.
That's true. It's 2007. I was just shocked because that's something that Apple usually doesn't do.
Sure.
And the fact is, I believe if you're running Snow Leopard, it's not like you have to buy every other copy. And up to this, you buy this new version of Mavericks, and actually it's free. So you download Mavericks, and you're all set.
Well, you know, and Leo and Alex are making a good point. Is for the most part, and Apple talked about this as well, that over 200 million iOS devices upgraded to iOS 7 in the first 5 days of iOS 7 being available. For the most part, Apple people love upgrading. You know, it's like new software, let's upgrade. You know, it's one of these. You call it herd mentality, whatever you want to call it. It's something that folks like to do. When you give something like Mavericks away for free, then you end up selling more hardware. And I'm sure that that's what Apple's thinking. It just makes sense, and that's the company that they've built, and that works for them. So we're all going, wow, cool, free. Well, their hardware is still pretty expensive, but it ends up working out for them.
When you compare it to Microsoft, most people buy a laptop with Windows on it. They don't think about the price of it. They consider it free. And then when Windows 8.1 or a point upgrade comes out, it's a free update. And this is Apple saying we're doing the same thing, except we're just never going to have, presumably, a Windows 7 or a Windows 8 where we do charge you if you want to upgrade. We're just going to say, you know what, you always get the newest, latest, best because we want to sell hardware. That's where we make our money, and that's why they can afford to do it. You're exactly right.
And then the iLife updates, so they are free now with iOS or Macs. So now they're just freeing up software so they can sell more and more hardware, like you're saying. Was there any mention of in-app purchases when it came to instruments? Because that was the rumor for something like GarageBand, where you'd get the app for free, but if you wanted to get maybe more effects, or
I
more
thought you
instruments,
already could do in-app purchases in GarageBand, but you also had to pay for it, and now they just got rid of the need to pay
Okay.
for it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's GarageBand specifically, though.
Okay, so I just was curious about that. And then there was also this focus on basically a lot of cloud management when it came to iWork. This idea of collaborative stuff, a lot more like Google Docs and Office 365, right?
Yeah, exactly. For the first time, and you know, anybody who was watching the announcement, there was a bit of a goofy little thing where they were doctoring up an image of Eddie Q as if he was on a magazine cover.
The greatest doctrine
I
ever.
don't know. It was kind of like a two-man comedy show that wasn't very funny. But what was cool was the real-time collaborative efforts. This is this is something that on TNT, it's like, well, we use Google Docs because that's sort of our best real-time solution, even though it's certainly limiting. So this is certainly Apple's iWork suite, just catching up to the functionalities of that sort of thing. What really works for people is you want to be able to collaborate in real time from different places.
You do have to have an iCloud account, but then you can't get an
Correct.
iCloud account on Windows. It does tend to work better for folks who are already operating within the OS 10 universe, I suppose, because there's no education level. But if somebody's on Windows and they've got iCloud, it's going to work just fine for them. I just to let you know, I ordered a 15-inch MacBook Pro already. I've been in the market for a laptop for a while now. Mine is 3 years old, which for me is incredibly ancient. But not because I was so excited with what they did here. I mean, the Haswell processor, frankly, is the most exciting thing.
Yeah, we got Haswell processors for the line of MacBook Pros. 13-inch MacBook Pro is going to start at $1299 for the 2.4 gigahertz dual-core i5. Some folks said i5. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabyte solid-state drive shipping today. You've got the 15-inch MacBook Pro also shipping today, starting at $1999, so $2,000 for that. But you know, we'd also heard about the Mac Pro. Mac Pro is finally gotten a sticker price. The base model is $29.99. Yep, and that's a base model. So I don't know what the most souped up version would be. More like
$10,000.
$54.99 or something like that. It'll be available in December, and that we didn't actually get any more information than that. We also, if you were following the announcement, noticed that there was a lot of emphasis on 4K and the ability to be able to handle really, really large-scale video projects. You had quotes from Hollywood video editors saying that more than ever, this is something that's just going to revolutionize our processes, and we're the professionals. We're the people who need the most power available. But we didn't really hear much about what kind of display you might enjoy that 4K video on.
Yeah, it
kind of
seems to-
hoping we might have gotten something like that. We certainly didn't get an Apple branded anything.
It seems to assume that this is for professionals who already have 4K screens because they're working in that. So
I guess so.
Apple's not gonna make that, which is a change. It's Apple kind of redirecting towards the professional and saying, you know what, we are still for the pros. We are still for the video editors, which a lot of people felt with Final Cut 10 that they were moving away from that and saying we're going to be pretty much just for consumers these days. So
this $3,000 machine will be a great machine to run Premiere on. Because, I mean, Final Cut Pro, this idea of like, oh, we're working professionals, we want to use the Mac Pro to run, I'm not going to run a Final Cut Pro 10. That thing is a mess. I mean, $3,000, you can buy a really well-equipped PC. This concept of, oh, I'm going to shell out a ton of money for an Apple product that has limited software when it comes now to creative stuff. Because Adobe's really caught up. This might be this little, yeah, we got pro stuff. I don't really think this is Apple's focus, nor will it be some kind of huge success. It just doesn't seem like it's the time for the Mac Pro.
It still just looks like a little trash can that you put on your desk.
It's a $3,000.
I know it's very cool and